Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are at the third game between MaNa and Tarson. This time we're on the map Metropolis. Our purple Protoss player Tarson spawning up here in the 12 o'clock spawn location, and his opponent down over here in the 6 o'clock, our blue Protoss player MaNa. Let's talk about last game. MaNa with a very early expansion, actually expanding before Tarson, who went with a 1-Rax expand. Was able to get up that strong economy early on, which allowed him to do a couple of things. Tech up into Colossus quite heavily early in the game, and also get 2-2 upgrades, with which he was able to push out against Tarson after Tarson attempted to engage MaNa, and failed unfortunately for him, and was forced all the way back to his base, and then MaNa just continued pushing for the win. But again, we are here now in the third game between these two players. This time, once more, on the map Metropolis. And it's actually been a while since my last Metropolis commentary, so I'll just quickly show you guys around the map here. Firstly, looking at the main base, now moving down into that natural expansion. A little bit of room here in the natural, and we do have some destructible debris leading into a third expansion position. And then also right outside of the natural, leading out to the center of the map, there is a spot with some debris here, and a little bit of an opening. And then of course we've got expansions here in the middle, just to the right of this Naga tower, and then one all the way over here in the end, and that is pretty much mirrored throughout the rest of the map. There's spawn locations here, and then of course the one up here, where Tarson is at. A little bit of chat here going on between the two players, which I cannot read. Feel free to translate. Thank you very much. MaNa scouts out the 3 o'clock, realizing Tarson isn't there, is going to now be heading up to the 12 o'clock. At the same time, we've got Tarson scouting out 9 o'clock, and then upon realizing that MaNa isn't there, we'll be moving down to the 6 o'clock. Hope I got my o'clocks right. Tarson once more with the 1-Rax expand. First Marine coming through, SCV moving down for the expansion. You guys know the deal. And yet again, another early expansion here from MaNa in response. Look at that. Nexus before Cybercore. Cybercore now coming through. Nexus about a fourth of the way finished. And both players know what their opponents are doing. The Marines bypass. Pulls back just in time. And he's going to be able to stop that probe. Probe cuts it to the right though. Decides, yeah, I don't want to engage him. SCV now moving back. Let's see if he decides to go all the way back, or if he's going to be used for secondary scouting again. Yeah, looks like he's heading all the way back home. All right, so not going to be a lot here early on from either player. That's my expectation right now, as both players, again, did go for that very early expansion, just like last game. So we're likely to just see some macro up here. Probe scout makes it in the main. That's really unfortunate there for Tarson. I mean, you know, this is what is standard, and this is probably what he expected, but still, you don't want to show your hand if you don't have to, and that definitely was not necessary. Those Marines certainly should have been able to stop the probe from moving in. I don't know, maybe having those Marines a little bit more forward would have helped, because the probe just kind of snuck right by and walked in. I guess, I'm not sure. Maybe he was thinking if he holds him back a little bit more if a stalker comes, but a stalker wouldn't have been there in time given this expansion was so early. So I don't know what he was doing. That's unfortunate. Here I am nitpicking. I haven't played StarCraft in forever and certainly nowhere near as good as Tarson is, so I'm just saying at the professional level that could have been prevented. Alright, here it is, Tech Lab, and again, just going to expect what we've been seeing here from Tarson. See that stim pack research in a moment. We do have a little bit of a push forward there with a stalker from MaNa. Tarson saying, GTFO. Get out of here. Back over here for MaNa, we do have 3 gateways now in, and probably going to be seeing a robo soon. There it is, robo getting placed down. So yeah, guys, not a lot going on early game. This is just how it is. Quickly here, though, I just want to say I'm happy to be bringing you guys another series. It's been a very long time since the last StarCraft 2 series. I've really been focusing on single games. The biggest thing for me is kind of not wanting to flood you guys with content, especially, you know, now that I'm covering a multitude of games, being more of a general gaming channel than focusing on one or two things. This is a transition that I've been doing on the channel for a long time, but still, you know, my love for StarCraft has not diminished at all, even though I just said I don't play it much anymore. I absolutely adore commentating the game, so don't ever expect StarCraft to go away. I think it's always going to be a staple of my channel, because I just enjoy it. I enjoy it that much. And you know what? You guys have missed nothing with all that rambling. Still just macroing up. Taking a look here, though, we do have that double forge again from MaNa, as we saw in game number 2. And those are placed right here. Also now coming out with his Twilight Council, breaking down the debris here to provide himself an avenue into this third position. And we do have this probe chilling out over here. Was kind of expecting him to place down a pylon, but that hasn't happened yet. And back over here for Tarson, again, same old, same old. Reactor building on the factory, starport coming through, and then we should expect that factory to be a scout. 2 more racks. I mean, he is just by the books here. Also, Marines in the main waiting for observers to walk in so that he can scan and snipe. As you can see now, observer making its way towards Tarson's main. We'll see if Tarson's able to get that right away. Charge Zealot upgrade. A little bit different here this time here. And there's the Templar Archives. Alright, so we're going to see a different play this time from MaNa. Archons. High Templar Storm. Even that's debatable. At the very least, we'll be seeing Archon Charge Zealots. So again, a little bit of a different composition this time from our buddy MaNa. 2 more gateways also coming through. Level 1 weapons and armor getting researched. And there's the Observer Scout, who is safe at the moment. Not spotted. Decent positioning, kind of blending in there. Biggest thing is just sitting still. When you're moving, it's really easy to spot those observers, but sitting still a little bit better. There's the pylon finally from MaNa, placing it down in the 3rd expansion position. 3rd base position, 2nd expansion. Get your facts straight, Force. Scan and stim. Ooh, that's really not necessary. He does have medevacs to heal those guys up, but still. Yes, he was just really eager to take out that observer. And we've got a 2nd observer now. Making its way at, maybe probably just scouting out the front again. I feel like, God, it's like the same game. Well, I can't say that because, again, we do have a High Templar and Charged Zealot coming through here for MaNa. And immediately getting the Storm. A lot of times you'll see just Archons first, and even sometimes just a holding off altogether of the Storm. Just relying on Archon splash damage. The other great thing about Archons is that they are not affected by Concussive Shell because they are a massive unit, so that bio-kiting that you see with the Concussive Shell from the Marauders being a key factor doesn't work so well against the Archon. But we're just seeing a mass of High Templar. And there are no, there's no Ghost Academy, so no real, no, yes there is, wow. Completely dropped the ball there. He doesn't have any Ghost in play though at the moment. There's a Ghost Academy. Scan, takes out the Observer. Factory Scout now moving forward. We'll be spotting out those Templar Archives. Just a moment. Here comes a Charge Zealot and the Storms. Oh, the Storms. Look at that damage. Unreal. More Storm damage. Bio just taking a little bit too long to move out. And now here comes some Archons as those High Templar have run out of energy. Factory Scout. Well, he doesn't even need to see this anymore because he knows they're there. We've got the Ghost coming through now. 2 in play already. EMPs and snipes, that's what you're going to use to deal with those High Templar. MaNa now chilling out right over here. It looks like he's preparing to push. At the very least, delaying this expansion would be huge for him. There's no counter response at all here for Tarson. MaNa's also coming out with a 3rd base. Tarson almost finished building his, but he's going to be hard-pressed to actually move in this position if MaNa decides to just chill out here. It will be very difficult for Tarson to expand with this large of a force right outside. And actually, here comes the push. He's not waiting for anything. Moving right in with the Charged Zealots. Here come the Archons as well, and there's not a lot of Templar. Just one right here. He cannot storm yet, though. Actually, he goes straight to Archon mode, so just Archons and Zealots pushing in, doing a lot of damage right now. SCV's forced off the line, which is not a good sign. Still a lot of Zealots and Archons left. And And uh-oh, Tarson now losing his natural expansion. Dealing with force fields, trying to cut off some of those reinforcements. One zealot, a couple zealots just going to chill down there. Continue to do damage as the rest of the force moves up there. More warp-ins of zealots, and that's going to do it. That's the game, and that is the series. With MaNa winning 3 games in a row. Protoss power. All right, my friends, that does it in this series between Tarson and MaNa. And I gotta say, hats off to MaNa. Very impressive display from our blue Protoss player. Past 3 games, he's just proved dominant. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this series. Stay tuned in the future for more StarCraft 2 and general gaming coverage, news, and all that great stuff. Thanks again for watching, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.